I took the PlayStation Portal 2,000 miles away from home just to test how capable it is at huge distances away from the PS5, and the results were pretty interesting. Stay tuned. Before trying this though, I should stress that the PlayStation Portal is designed primarily for use at home on the same Wi-Fi network as your PS5, so we are pushing it outside of what it's advertised for here. Now, for any chance for this to work at all, I need to leave the PS5 in rest mode the entire time I'm away from home, and when finished with the Portal, make sure it is set to put the console back into rest mode too, so I don't accidentally turn it off and effectively lock myself out of the system. I definitely haven't done that before. Anyway, I figured that before getting on a plane to test this, I should give it a quick go somewhere a little more local, so I drove to a nearby car park and tried to use it just hotspotted to my phone. As you can see, I've got 5G with full bars, and performing a speed test does show speeds that are above Sony's advised 15 megabits per second minimum, so I'm expecting it to connect here with no issue. However, I definitely thought this whole thing was a failed experiment, as when trying to connect to my PS5, it took over a minute, and when I did finally manage to connect, I was consistently just being barraged with poor signal alerts causing the gameplay to stutter, and after about a minute and a half, I was thrown out and disconnected completely. Don't worry though, not all hope is lost, as when I forced my phone to use only 4G and not the 5G, the experience was seamless. I believe that worked because fewer people in the area are going to be using the 4G band, so if you're ever using the Portal outside on mobile data and not getting good performance, remember to give this a shot. Anyway, I sat here and played for a good 10 minutes and only counted 1 visual stutter and 3 audio stutters, which is extremely good going. As for latency, I'll try to get an exact measurement of that when we take it to the other side of Europe. And on that note, it was time to catch my flight to Gran Canaria, so I packed a Portal into my bag, along with this awesome 65-watt Nexode GAN charger from UGREEN. This nifty gadget, styled like a friendly robot, keeps all my devices powered thanks to its 3 ports, and I love that its display shows a charging status as it eliminates the need to check each device. It features 2 USB-C ports and 1 USB-A, accommodating up to 3 devices simultaneously. I can charge both my S24 Ultra and PS Portal at their maximum speeds thanks to the advanced GAN technology, and it's plenty fast enough to charge up my MacBook Pro too. It also smartly regulates power, switching to a trickle charge once devices hit 100% to maintain battery health, as indicated by a change to smiley eyes on the display. If you're interested, grab one for yourself or as a gift using the link in the description. Thanks to UGREEN for sponsoring this video and powering this journey. So, with everything packed, I boarded my flight, and as much as I wanted to test the Portal whilst actually in the air, that would require onboard Wi-Fi, which sadly wasn't available. But IGN have shown that this can actually work to some extent if the plane you're on does have it. Once I arrived, I took my PlayStation Portal out of the carry case that I bought for it, and then I took it out onto the balcony area to try and play some games. First off, I thought I'd try and use a hotel Wi-Fi, but as the Portal has no browser, I couldn't sign into it, so I still had to hotspot to my phone. Luckily, Androids can hotspot a Wi-Fi network, so it was still possible to test, and it works fine. That said, I think the test that's always more interesting is when using mobile data, as that's the sort of connection you'll most likely have all the time whilst travelling. So with 5G and a few bars whilst roaming, I was getting great speeds. To no surprise, the Portal was able to connect to the PS5, though it did take about a minute to do so. Once connected, I then played the first half an hour of Spider-Man 2 whilst feeling awkwardly watched by neighbouring hotel rooms, and I could really see they were just wondering what on earth I was doing. Oh, and yep, you heard me right. The first half an hour of Spider-Man was played without being kicked off, and even without experiencing a single problem. Not a single one. I can't even really say I noticed any of the audio stutter, which is super impressive and suggested it was working better than it did when I tested it just a few miles from home. The graphics and screen look awesome, and bear in mind that I'm doing this with the sunlight beaming straight onto the screen, so that just goes to show how bright it can be too. However, even with all that said, there was still latency, and I've got to be honest, it was a lot more latency than I get at home. Unfortunately, there's no super accurate way to measure latency when this far away, so I'm just going to have to slow down the footage to a really low frame rate to calculate how long it takes for the screen to respond when I press the D-pad buttons to navigate the menu. It should be pretty clear from this that there is noticeable latency, and I'm measuring it up to be just under 200 milliseconds, but I still don't think I can say that it was outright bad, as it really wasn't. The game was perfectly playable, and I still timed QuickTime events just fine. I won't lie though, there were occasional occasional points where it did seem like latency maybe led to me missing a dodge here and there, and Sandman just threw me across New York as a result. That said, maybe it was just down to my own spider sense malfunctioning. Whilst playing Spider-Man on the portal here, it did also really make me think how awesome it would be to take the portal to different spots in New York whilst being in that same spot in the game and being able to draw a direct comparison between the two. So subscribe if you want to see that. Anyway, I went on to try Astro's Playroom that evening as well, which looked really cool on the portal because of how the sides light up, and I was able to play it just fine, which again is really impressive when timing is so essential in a platformer. As I actually did all of this testing back in December when God of War's Valhalla DLC released, this meant I was still able to play that in my free time despite being so far away from a PS5. From all my testing then, my major issues are that this won't work well in busy areas or on busy and poorly managed Wi-Fi networks, and also that you can't really enjoy a game if it's locked at 30 FPS. In fact, because of that, the first thing I recommend you do if you're on the portal is make sure you're in the performance mode, because in fidelity modes, you'll really feel like you're suffering from extreme latency issues, when in reality, you might not be. Overall though, I was very impressed with how the portal performed and continue to use it for the rest of my trip and have done ever since. If you've also tried this with your portal, let me know your experiences in the comments, as I'm sure it's different for everybody. Personally, I do think it truly is awesome to be able to play PS5 games anywhere with all the cool features of a DualSense. Honestly, the worst part of the experience is that the audio quality is quite poor from the speakers, as it's firing upwards rather than towards you. So I did spend most of my gaming time using the Pulse Explore earbuds, which you can see my full review of by clicking the video on screen now. Alternatively, click the one below it if you want to see how to connect any Bluetooth audio device to the portal without needing a PS-Link compatible device. Also, please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to help me reach 100k. I'd really appreciate it.